You see, I saw this video of a senator complaining about the continued marginalization of Igbo people in the Senate House.
Hell.
Now, before I say any other thing, let's watch the video together.
Hey, come look at this.
The Southeast cannot continually to be treated the way Nigeria is treating the Southeast. Let me give you an instance. Out of the dams that were listed here on the Southeast, Ivo Dam was last funded about 12 years ago with a 5 billion naira spent on it, and it has been abandoned by Nigeria for the last 12 years. I had written 3 letters to the Ministry of Water Resources. We have done everything possible to see if they can bring up Ivo Dam, and here a zone is allocated 66 billion and the entire South is at 0. What kind of omission is that?
You see, it is very sad that we are in 2025, and while other nations are thinking of how to move forward, this country is thinking of who to suppress.
Funny people.
It is very sad that 55 years after the Igbo man survived the Civil War, he is still fighting a silent war in Nigeria. Yet we claim to be a united, indivisible, and indissoluble entity.
Photo.
If not for the fact that I have respect for elders, I for talk say it no go ever better for the person wey include that thing as the opening statement of our national constitution.
Hey! This man!
Now let me give you a historical perspective of this problem.
Okay.
The Igbo man was on his own, jejely, when the British came with their amalgamation and made him a part of a new country. He did not beg to be a part of it.
You get it?
In fact, history has it that the Igbo resisted the British the most. The British even admitted that the Igbo man is the most sophisticated black man he has ever seen.
Yes.
But by 1914, the Igbo was part of a new society, and he embraced his new society. And in his adventurous nature, he was doing his best to make an impact in the society he had found himself.
No problem.
And since education was now the real thing, he was trying everything he could to send his child to school. In fact, it was the Igbo man that introduced the communal scholarship system, where a community came together, taxed themselves mercilessly in order to send their brightest children to school.
Really?
So by 1950, Igbos had the highest number of post-secondary graduates in the country.
Clap for that.
And our society then, led by colonial government, had spaces to accommodate these fresh graduates. So Igbos dominated the Nigerian civil service in the late 50s. And by the time the British finally carried their things and left in 1960, Igbos were in place to take over most of the administrative positions that were vacated. That was his first major sin against the country. Other parts came together and started a murmur that the Igbo man wants to dominate every other person.
Hell.
That murmur finally became a real thing, to the point that even the government of the time, led by MPC, were introducing a policy that was eliminating Igbos from their position and bringing people from other places to take their position. And when you ask, they will tell you they are trying to balance federal character.
Now are you?
So because of the need to suppress the Igbo man, we had a government that was built on tribalism, inequality, and corruption. And meanwhile, the military were watching. And when the military could not take it anymore, they decided to put an end to the mess by striking in January 1966, which brought about the first coup.
Hell.
And because the name of the man that led the coup had Chukwuma inside of it, the country said, oh, we said it. This Igbo that is trying to dominate every sector is now coming to take over the government. That was the last straw that broke the camel's back. And I'm sure you know what happened from this point. From the counter coup that killed Aguiyi Ironsi and over 150 officers and men of Igbo extraction, to the pogrom that happened in the north and other parts of the country, where the Igbo man was targeted, and over 30,000 were either killed, maimed, and their properties looted. And in the late 1966, the number of Igbos leaving other parts of the country to run down to Igbo land were over 1 million.
I could have killed a lot.
Then you talk about the meeting between Igbo leaders and Nigerian government. discussing how to coexist as a country, which led to the Aburi Accord. And the federal government failed to implement the agreement. Which means the Igbo man is saying, make us feel like a part of this country. Nigerians said no. Oh yeah, now allow us to go and build our own country. The country also said no.
Wickedness.
And when the Igbos took the bull by the horns and announced they were leaving to build their own country, the federal government at the time visited them with a war. And it is not just any kind of war. It was a type of war that violated every form of human rights and international regulations. Villages were targeted. Civilians were indiscriminately executed. Refugee camps were targeted. A Red Cross plane carrying relief materials to Igbo land was shot down.
What?
Economic blockade was put in place, which prevented the movement of food, drugs, and other relief materials to Igbo land. Over 3 million people died, not from bullet wounds, but from hunger and starvation. Children moved around with, a swollen stomach, and their only crime was that they were born in a country that did not want them in the first place. And by 1970, we announced no victor, no vanquish, and that we are moving on. Moving on to where?
It's not a lie.
How do you move on when you have not addressed what led to the war and then the damages that were done during the war? How do you move on from the tears of our mothers who cried themselves to silence? How do you move on from the dreams of children who were burnt to ashes? How do you move on when the real victims of the war have not even been allowed to fully heal?
Learn a lesson.
No, we did not move on. We only behaved like the foolish drunkard who thinks after drinking he will forget his problem, not knowing that his problem will not forget him. And come to think of it, how did we move on? By taking all the monies in our father's account and giving everybody 20 pounds. That was how we moved on.
Corruption.
By placing a ban on stockfish trade, okreka, and other commodities that the Igbo man was going to use and rebuild his economy. By taking over Igbo properties in Port Harcourt, Lagos, Kano, and different parts of the country and reallocating it to other people. That was how we moved on. By systematically eliminating the Southeast from certain federal infrastructure, like the steel project, the railway project, the gas pipe project, the dam project, to mention but a few.
Nigeria is not for you.
We moved on by making sure that the Southeast remained locked in only 5 states, which makes them disadvantaged in federal allocation. Was that how we moved on?
Photo.
By making sure no Igbo man comes close to any prominent government position. By taking away history from our schools in an attempt to erase the sufferings of a people. That was how we moved on. By making sure that people like Ohamadike, their voices are forever silenced. No, the country did not move on. Because the country not only betrayed the Igbos with war, they have continually betrayed the Igbos with government policies.
You get it?
They are holding somebody to the ground, and that is why the country is still on the ground. Because for you to leave the ground, you have to first of all leave who you are holding.
We must learn a lesson.
This country is owing the Igbo man a lot, whether they like it or not. Even if they don't accept it, what they accept does not change what is true.
You say?
The country has a lot of blood in its hands. And for them to wash off this blood, it has to take more than an apology. It has to take more than inclusive government. It is going to take justice. It is going to take the country to accept the truth and educate their people with the truth. If not, we will remain running round and around the circles. And come to think of it, how come a country that is blessed by God with so much resources and potentials, we are still engulfed in poverty and confusion? Maybe because we have a lot of innocent blood buried beneath our soil, crying out for vengeance. Hey!